Hello, everyone, and welcome to African Conservation Podcast. Today with us is Wolfgang Knopfler, who is a filmmaker, worked for Terra Mater for a long time, and we do have a few questions for him today, along, of course, with any anecdotes or tips, about conservation and Africa related to filmmaking, of course. Hello, Wolfgang.
Hi, Mathieu. Pleasure to be on. Very, very happy, especially after so many years. I think we
Yeah,
last met in
it's been a long
Samburu
time.
National Park with Ian Douglas Hamilton, and I was in the early 90s, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was in the late 90s. We met
Oh, late
in,
90s.
I
Sorry,
think we
yeah.
met in Samburu in 99. Yeah, so it's
Yeah, late 90s.
a
See,
while
I'm
ago.
getting all mixed up already. I'm too long in the business.
So what took you, like if you were to say, what took you to Africa the first time you did go there?
The first time was again with film work. I mean, I'm working in this industry now since 1986, and I went to Sierra Leone with a colleague of mine and friend of mine, and he absolutely hated Africa, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I was lucky enough to have a girlfriend at the time who was working in Mikumi National Park.
Oh,
So I went to Tanzania, and I clearly remember, yes, I was in love, but also because of the Sierra Leone experience, I had this feeling of being homesick for Africa. I really, really wanted to be in Africa. So yeah, that's how I came to Africa, and I was already in the film industry by then.
already, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think when we met, like you in filming something, was it for BBC in Samburu?
No, that was for Austrian broadcaster, and
Ah, okay.
we were filming an episode, "The Future of," and in that case, it was "The Future of Elephants."
Ah, okay.
And we looked at Ian's work, and we looked at more controversial work in Zimbabwe, because especially
Yeah.
Kenya doesn't allow any big game hunting, whilst in Zimbabwe it was allowed.
Yeah.
And so we looked at the pros and cons of conservation efforts.
Yeah, I think in Kenya they stopped in 175, 76. Like it's a
Yeah,
while ago, huh?
yeah, long time ago.
If you were to mention a few of the projects or films you did, which one would you choose?
Uh, I would say really one on top of it, it has to do with my love for Africa, and because of the outcome and the impact the film had. It's called The Ivory Game,
Yeah.
and you can find it on Netflix. And this film, when we set out, we said we need to do something. The poaching was massive. Elephants were being slaughtered by their thousands.
Yeah.
And we said, and there were a reportage, and it was in news and everywhere, and said, we need to do something here. Our job is to make blue chip natural history films. We benefit from these films. Now it's time to give back. So we decided to do a really big, impactful feature documentary where we took a lot of money in our hands, uh, a very unusual step to finance that in advance without any partners on it.
Oh,
And our main goal was that the trade in ivory will be stopped, and the trade in ivory specifically in China,
yeah.
which was the biggest market at the time. They used so much ivory at the time that would meant the slaughter of 30,000 elephants every year just to feed the demand at the time.
It's insane. Insane. So you had to go like your team, I guess, had to get into contact with, on one hand, the officials, then the villagers, maybe the rangers as well, the whole Tanapa industry in Tanzania and the whole system, I guess. It was a big investigation, huh?
It was a big investigation. In total, the film took 28 months from concept to delivery till we sold it to Netflix. And we worked in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Uganda, in in China, in Hong Kong, in America, in England, in Zambia. So it was really, and we had a main team,
Yeah.
and then we had the undercover agents, which were not directly hired by Terra Mata. They
Yeah.
were freelance, like Andrea Croster from Earth League
Yeah.
International, or Ophir Drori, who worked with us. Yeah.
That's yeah, yeah, okay. I think Ophir, I'll contact him as well. He's got a very nice profile. Like it's
Oh yeah, he's
very
fantastic
interesting.
and he's doing that work forever and he's really successful with it and he's still very passionate about it. Like all of us, you know.
Yeah, I guess all of you guys, even me, I'm counting in myself inside this, even if I'm not like on the ground fighting crime, but I'm trying to report it and connect like-minded individuals like you and me and Andrea and so many people who are trying to, curb down that effect that humans had on Africa for such a long time. And the wildlife, I think they deserve a bit of peace. It's been that Chinese market or even Southeast Asia, I heard it's also quite bad for ivory, for rhino horn, even like lion bones and everything. It's really
I
sad.
mean, going back to the ivory game, as I said, our goal was that
Yeah.
China bans the trade in ivory, and it really happened. I can't say it was the film alone, but the film played a role in it because it came out on November 1st, 2016,
Yeah.
and on December 31st, 2016, China announced that a year from then they will ban the trade in ivory. And
Ah,
that had to do with Jane Goodall, my good friend Jane Goodall, the late
yeah.
Jane, with whom we gave DVDs and Blu-rays to distribute to the right people in China.
Yeah.
It had to do with Netflix, with their Impact campaign or Oscar campaign,
Yeah.
where we had billboards on Times Square, on Sunset Boulevard, full page ads in the New York Times, in the LA Times. And I think that just helped a little bit
It
to
did.
push the Chinese government into direction and say, okay, we get so much hassle from that, it's not worth the while. It just damages our image significantly. Let's stop that.
Exactly. I think the impact of the images, if it's relayed by the right people, the right platforms, it can reach so much easier than if you go like yourself and do conferences and explain things. If you put it into a good format like you guys did, it took a long time all over the place, but at least you have powerful images, like the undercover part of the movies. Like you feel you're with them on the ground, you're scared, it's night, and I can't even imagine how it was filming this. Like it's this and the whole process. It's amazing what you guys did. Really amazing. It was an amazing movie. Congrats to you guys, huh?
Thank you. Well, the undercover filming and being embedded in various organizations fighting wildlife crime and trafficking uh, was particularly challenging, because not only from the danger point of view, but you don't get a second chance. If you get it on camera, you get it on camera. You cannot say, go back, can you do that again? Arrest this
No,
poacher or,
no, you can't.
arrest this trafficker. It's not get out of the door and come in again. You
Yeah,
either get it or you don't. And that was all what they told us. They say, yes, you can come with us. You be responsible for your own safety. You are not getting us in our way, and you only get that one chance. That's it. Our work has priority. And so that was really, really a challenge, and we succeeded. Very happy with the result.
that's nice. If we talk about Tanzania for the shooting of the movie, um,
Yeah.
where did you go in Tanzania? Was it Mikumi, the south?
No, we went up north near Arusha, near Manyara.
Okay.
Uh, but it was this area was a poaching hotspot.
Yeah.
So we mainly went into villages where we knew from intelligence.
Yeah.
That's an organization called PAMS in
Yeah.
Tanzania,
Yeah,
and
they're
they
very nice.
provided us with the intelligence, and we are hunting down poachers and traffickers together with these people. So we were embedded in their actions.
Yeah, because PAMs, they do have like very good contacts in the bush, huh? In the villages.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they have very good contacts everywhere. They seem to have the right people also in the intelligence network and in with the authorities, being aligned with the authorities in
Yeah,
Tanzania.
where you were on the ground, you and your team, like how was the welcome? Like were the people warm to you? Were they a bit scared or any preconceived ideas they had?
The welcome from PAMS and the government organizations was welcoming.
Okay.
The villages, of course, not. You know.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's not welcome. I mean, and then you film them on top of it,
Yeah.
which is kind of morally difficult because I do understand their situations. Yeah,
Yes.
is that they don't get a lot of benefit from those national parks,
No.
and they even have maybe damages to their crops and to their fields, and getting that kind of money traffickers would pay, which was very little, because I can explain to you, a
Yeah.
poacher would get about, if he's lucky, $25 per kilo.
Shit.
The next middleman would sell it for $100 to $125. The middleman in Dar es Salaam would then charge $300. Then it arrives in Vietnam and it's $1,000. And then it arrives in China and it's $3,000. Well, that's just pure ivory, not
Yeah.
carved or whatever. So $25,000 to $3,000. And the punishment, if you're being caught as a trafficker, is very little. There is no big sentences.
You mean when you say trafficker, do you mean international or it's not poaching? I
International.
mean trafficker.
Yeah, wildlife product traffickers, and it has a lot to do with corruption, because I mean there's a lot of money floating around, and it's again going into Vietnam or going into Tanzania or Kenya. Police officers and rangers are paid very, very poorly, so
Yes, they
they're
are.
easy to bribe. They're easy to bribe. And if I can look away and I get a year's salary for me
Yeah.
looking away, then I'll do it, or a month's salary or two. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's people I think in China, they were using, how do you say, the vulnerability of the people on the ground who
Yeah,
depend on so little. And of course, if you offer them $25 a kilo, for them it is a lot of money, of course.
yeah,
And like you said, most of these people, they're not paid much, if they are paid at all.
yeah,
And some of them see their crops destroyed by elephants. So for them, I guess it's a win-win, sadly, because they get a little money for the ivory, and maybe their crops get, less raided at night. Even if there are solutions, I heard about mini projects with like beehives, pepper spray, even like people staying up all night to watch the field. So slowly, I think it's coming up, but it's like you said, it's a huge work from China to Africa.
yeah.
Even the whole, I think the public needs to be aware of the threats that are, impacting Africa's wildlife and communities, of course.
Yeah. I must say what happened after China banned the trade in ivory, the market for ivory, in the sense it collapsed.
Yeah,
It really reduced itself by from the money you can make by at least two-thirds. So whilst you would pay $3,000 in China for a kilo, the price is down now to 600. So, and you still have, and sentences being caught went up. So the risk is much, much higher and the benefits are much, much lower. But what was in Ivory Game, and I fought for it, that we address it. I say, what if and when the trade in ivory
yeah,
stops and the poaching stops? What is the next biggest threat to elephants and wildlife? It's the human-wildlife conflict.
it is.
Yeah. And this is what I said we absolutely have to mention in that film, because it is the biggest threat to them.
Yes, it is. It is
It's
because they have,
habitat loss, it's human-wildlife conflict is the biggest threat.
it is the livelihood, is in those fields. So if you have an elephant family come at night and they eat all your corn, in the morning you have nothing left, nothing.
Yeah.
So luckily there are NGOs and people like launching projects and helping the communities protect this. But like it's going to be a long work. It's not only elephants, if you take predators, it's the same issue.
Yeah.
Lions jump inside the boma and they eat all the goats and cows during the night. Then
Yeah.
there's so many solutions, but also like the land is so huge. It's very difficult. And tourism, like you said, it's the rangers and like you said, the government entities, they are paid so little. So of course, when you have corrupt individuals coming to them and saying, I'll offer you 25 or $100 to do this and that, for them, it's like, 2 days work. It's a lot of money for like a few hours. So of course, the temptation is sadly quite easy, huh?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, there's what is especially lacking, I mean, in the past you had national parks, and between the
Mm.
public land or the land where you grow crops or whatever, or keep your cattle and goats, there was a buffer zone in between usually. Now it's a razor sharp border, you know?
Yeah,
People planting crops right to the border, people bringing even livestock within the national parks. And then there is no escape that there will be human wildlife conflict. So I think one thing would be to establish those border zones again. Yeah, but
yeah,
it's hard. And where it hasn't happened that people encroach that much, it needs to stop here. You need to really give the wildlife a chance, because they don't know when they're stepping over. I'm outside the national park now, I can be shot.
exactly.
They
Like
don't know.
in Tanzania, they have this WMA, so
Mhm.
where the wildlife and the communities can live together.
Mhm.
And it like between Tarangire and Manyara, most of this is WMA. So they
Mhm.
get revenue from tourism because when clients or tourism goes there, they have to pay a fee for this.
Yeah,
And they are allowed to have their cattle here. But like you
yeah,
said, it's without visible borders, it's so easy for the cattle to go into the national park and threaten, like, let's say, the vegetation gets eaten a lot. And then you have wild animals, of course, migrating between the parks and causing human wildlife conflict on the way. So it's a big issue. And like Southern Africa is different because it's all fenced. I'm not sure it's the right solution because then like animal population gets too big and they have to cull. And I don't know, I like the Eastern Africa way of doing it, even if it's not perfect, the way that it's open and the animals can move. I don't know what you think, but I think it's better.
yeah. I mean, it's not fenced in everywhere in Southern Africa, and
No.
community conservancy uh, methods work quite well. But again, they need to be stricter enforcement, because what I experience is I one side is always kind of taking advantage.
Yeah.
In Tanzania, in Namibia, for example, and in South Africa, big game hunting is allowed. Yeah.
Yes.
But they might take advantage of that, because what does it help you if you have desert elephants and you shoot out the biggest bull you have? I mean, you don't only shoot that bull, you shoot knowledge, you shoot culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. You take that away. Yeah.
The whole
Or
genetic pool, huh?
yeah, or the desert lions, the same story. They only want to shoot the male lions. Well, there's not enough male lions around.
No.
How many of them can you shoot? So and then you have tourism, which then depending how they are set up, uh, that they take advantage,
Yeah.
and then disturb the wildlife and driving too close with the cars or chasing them down, and to give the client a better opportunity to take a photo. I
Yeah.
mean, it's extreme now in Tanzania and Kenya at the river crossings. The images, the videos we've seen,
That's very
it
sad.
can't believe it. I mean,
Very
just
sad.
it's all now gone viral now. It's the Ritz-Carlton
Yeah,
in
I've
the.
seen it.
Oh my God! I mean, this is insanity. This is where something needs to happen.
Yeah, it does.
I remember my time in Tanzania. If the Kenyan would come into the Serengeti, they drive off road, their license would be taken. Your driving license, they need to go back to that.
Yeah.
Everyone in this video, the driver gets his license revoked. The safari company needs to pay a fine, and then you have staggered. You have a point system, and at the third offense, your license is taken.
Yeah.
Your operator license is taken. Yeah,
All this for greed, huh? Just for
yeah,
to get a better tip from the client, they'll mass up, they'll block the crossing, like the lodge.
absolutely.
What they're doing in Masai Mara is they're basically building on the edge of the river, blocking the wildebeest from crossing. It's insane that the government allowed this in the first place.
Corruption.
Corruption, I know it's a sad, it's a
It's
big issue.
very sad, and the corruption comes from both sides. I mean, most of the lodges are now in the hands of uh, uh, individuals from the country. It's
Yeah,
not big chains, but is on the other hand, it is like Ritz-Carlton. I
yeah,
don't know if it's a franchise or not. Even if it's a franchise, Ritz-Carlton has to take responsibility for that. You
they do.
cannot let that happen.
I cannot believe with all the backlash they had online, they still went on with the project.
Yeah,
It's very sad.
yeah.
But let's talk about Namibia a little bit. You lived there for a while, huh?
I lived in Namibia for 6 years, and I lived in Tanzania for 2.5 years. Yeah.
Nice. So Namibia, how, like, of course, the hunting is an issue, but if you were to compare the parks and the way they are managed, is it, a little bit better? Is it the same in Tanzania? How did it feel? The whole
It's
perception.
how it feels. You have these income generating national parks, which are usually quite well managed,
Yeah,
except for the poaching. It's not as well managed, I would say. I don't know how the poaching situation is like now in the Mara, in Samburu, in the Serengeti, in Ngorongoro. I don't know, but I know at Etosha they had a massive problem with rhino poaching, massive problem. Yeah. Um, and then you have the lesser visited national parks where, they're kind of the, neglected ones, and they get
uh,
less resources, well, no resources. What works in Namibia is that the rangers get their salaries on time, so they don't
uh,
have to wait. I don't know how that is in Kenya or Tanzania now. At the time when I was there, it was always an issue. They would wait 3 months, 6 months for their salary to arrive, and that even enhances the willingness to accept the bribe even more because they have to feed their families.
yeah,
On the other hand, I've in almost every country I've worked in, and I've worked in 54 countries, and always every national park I visited around the world, you find the most passionate rangers.
yeah.
Absolutely passionate. Absolutely, they give their life for these national parks.
But they
Absolutely.
are they are true soldiers, huh?
Yeah.
Those guys, they are dedicated. I remember hearing stories during COVID in Serengeti. The rangers were all by themselves. There was no tourism, and they had to fight poaching, which was terrible during COVID when everything was closed. And the poachers were coming in with, like 4x4s and AK-47 in the middle of the day in Serengeti.
Yeah.
And luckily, tourism came back. Uh,
Mhm.
but those guys, they paid such a huge tribute to this, huh?
Mm.
It's that job needs to be more recognized, not just
Yeah.
as people making you pay at the entrance, but people who do actual um, patrols and protect everything that is inside these parks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
No,
huge.
and that's my experience. It doesn't matter if it's in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Namibia,
Mm,
if it's in Ecuador, if it's in India. Uh, in every national park, I find this kind of people. And
yeah,
it works especially well when the head park warden or the head park ranger is a passionate person like that. It gets difficult if that person is not so into it.
yeah,
And that's why they have this rota system. These park rangers, they need to rotate, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, they do. And we need to watch for corruption because those guys,
Yeah.
it's so easy, like we said before, it's so easy to get to them. So to get passionate individuals, this lowers the corruption possibility. Huh?
But
So
it's also it's not only the rangers who can be bribed, it's the safari companies, the tour operators.
everyone,
Play a big, big role in it. And that's why I said the system needs to be brought in place
yeah,
when you have like the harassment of wildlife, especially the river crossings in Kenya and Tanzania now, there need to be stiff fines and third time your license is revoked
yeah.
because that's the only way they learn.
It needs to be more strict, clearly, huh?
Yeah.
And not only about, client satisfaction. You need to think the guides, they need to think about the animal welfare first, and
Yeah.
then their clients.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You said you've traveled to 54 countries.
Mhm.
Any African country you haven't been to and you want to
Oh,
go one
many,
day?
many, many. Oh, people don't have an idea how big Africa is.
Exactly.
About Africa. I mean, God, that's Africa is
It's
larger than
huge.
North and South America together, plus throw in Europe on top of it and India, and it's all fits into Africa. No, I've missed a lot of countries. I've traveled a little bit in Eastern and Southern Africa, a little bit in West Africa, but I'm missing huge parts in lots and lots of countries.
Like Central Africa, huh? See the like
Central
forest
Africa.
elephants.
Yeah, no, I haven't. But
Oh,
also Gabon, I haven't been to Gabon.
nice.
I haven't been to Angola. Angola is, I mean, I so want to see Werner Herzog did a new film,
Yeah,
and it had its world premiere at the Venice Film Festival called Ghost Elephants with
yeah,
Stephen Boyd. I
true.
saw the trailer and I said, "Oh my,
It looks nice, huh? I've seen it too. It
I
looks
want to make
amazing.
a film like that." And Steve is just amazing. I mean, the philosophy behind and the way he talks, and you feel the passion in it. You feel
Clearly.
fire. You feel the respect. It's everything's there. And Herzog is anyhow one of the greatest filmmakers we've ever had. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned in your mentors Jane Goodall
Yeah.
recently. Like of course, she sadly passed away, but she had such an amazing life. Any other, mentors or heroes of conservation you can think of?
I must mention Jane again. I was privileged enough to work for her for 1 year in Gombe National Park,
Nice.
habituating chimpanzees. And Jane and I were very good friends until the last time I had contact with her was, I think, yeah, it was after my birthday. She sent me a message, which I will cherish forever. She is obviously my biggest hero and mentor. She's all in one. She's just the legacies she left behind, and it's you can't even say she left anything. She hasn't left. She is still
No,
present with the things she's done, the millions of people she inspired, the millions of people she's given hope. She's still there and she's present. And then there's many others, I'm a great admirer of Captain Paul Watson,
yeah,
the co-founder of Greenpeace, founder of Sea Shepherd, and now Captain Paul Watson Foundation. When I did Sea of Shadows, which is
yes.
another feature documentary, you can see it on Disney Plus about the smallest whale on Earth. I had a real identity crisis because I was thinking, I must do what Paul does and what his people do, being out there on the front line fighting, why I'm here, why I'm making films. I should be out there and catch poachers and arrest traffickers and risk my life. And then again, Jane helped because I really admire what Paul and his team do.
Yeah,
They really go out, they confront the people. They speak for the voiceless. But Jane
that's
said,
true.
yes, you have this talent. Just use it, make films. And films can have done in the right way together with an impact campaign can really change the world for the better.
I
They
think they
can
can.
have a
We
massive
all have different ways of impacting all this. You were on the film side. Paul Watson is on the sea side, I'll say, on the front lines of the fight. And some people are more onto, I don't know, even tourism. So some companies are like involved in all this. And movies like The Ivory Game, I can think about Blood Lions, in South Africa. That movie was also
yeah.
very impactful, I think. And a bit after this, South Africa stopped this, like the lion trade, the captive lion hunting. It was a huge issue. Like it was, yeah, it took a long time, but I don't know if it was going to work. But I can understand, I can relate completely to what you're saying. Like we all wish we could be on the front line fighting, but I think fighting behind a camera or organizing a shooting for the Ivory game is as impactful as what Paul is doing on the seas.
I would say something here.
Yeah.
When you're in tourism like
Hmm.
you are on the front line. You are an educator. You're an
Yes.
educator to the tourists, but you're also an educator to the local people.
Yes.
So a mediator, and you can bring the agenda of conservation on the forefront on both sides. Tourists are usually, especially in Africa, you have to be kind of well off to be able to afford a
Yeah,
safari in Africa. It's
clearly.
not a package holiday, or all inclusive for the family. You have to have money. So these people are usually influencers or they decision makers.
Yeah.
So you're already on the right track because these people might be able to influence legislation back in the northern hemisphere. Yeah.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
you're out with the villagers, and then you can explain to them as long as they see a benefit from coming into this conservancy or into this national park and they really benefit, they get their yearly payout or they
Yeah.
get wells dug or schools built or nurses being paid, or medicine coming in, or school books coming in, or teacher salaries being paid. I mean, that's another thing. What people often forget is, I've seen it so many times over. Oh, they build a nursery, they build a school, they build a health center. But then there is no money for school books, there is no money for salaries for teachers. You need to look, make that sustainable. It's easy to build something there, put a plaque on it and say, this is what your money has done.
Yeah.
Well, there's a building, it's empty. Yeah.
No,
So
me,
you need to,
when I talk to my clients and I send them to Africa, to Kenya, to Tanzania, I always encourage them to do a few things. I say, respect the animals. If you do not, like me, want to harass wildlife, say it to your guide. Stay away from the group of 4x4s you'll see, be it by the river or anywhere else. There's a few NGOs. I send the links. I say, you're well off, like you said, you can pay yourself a nice safari. Why not contribute, and give to, I don't know, Kope Lion, Mara Elephant Project, Save the Elephants. There's so many
yeah,
organizations and communities on the ground who are doing great work. You can go up to Reteti in Samburu and see the elephant orphans. You can do the same in Nairobi, which is not even the same exactly, but those projects, there are many. And we need, like you said, on our side, on the tourism side, to educate travelers to see a safari not just as an open air zoo. It's
yeah, yeah,
wildlife in the
yes,
wild side. It has
yeah,
to stay like this, and the clients, they have to be respectful. They have to be mindful of the environment, of the people they meet on the way. A Maasai by the road is not like a decoration. It's someone who is working and living there. So all this has to be taken into account. And I think the tourism industry has to get used to improve what they're offering, and their speech and their whole dialogue with their clients has to be, I think, more conservation friendly in a way that tourism doesn't have to worsen the whole situation on the ground. It can make it better if it's done properly, I think.
yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned the word zoo. A lot of people come there with high expectations. I've paid so and so much money, and that's why I'm entitled to see these animals, or that's why my driver should really push past the other cars and stand in front, because I'm sitting there in my vehicle alone and not in a minibus with others. So that's why I have a privilege. No, you don't.
You
You
don't.
don't. Yeah, and it's the same. I referred that also to filmmaking, where you have these rogue elements where people just don't respect the animals and go way too close with their cars, chase animals down, harass them. If it is driving up too close to them, using the drones, and there's all kinds of horrible things are happening. So that should not be tolerated as well.
Yeah, agreed. To finish up our very nice talk on a lighter note, if you
Yeah.
could choose, Wolfgang, and like a favorite animal, let's say in the world, not only Africa, what
Oh my
animal would that be if you have one?
dog.
Reminds me of Jane Goodall,
Yeah.
huh?
Leo, come here.
Nice.
Leo, I don't know, you've looked earlier. Come here. Yep. Come. Up, Leo. Come here, come here. Boy. Yes, my boy.
Hello.
Here's my boy. That's Leo.
Hello, Leo.
It's his 10th birthday today,
Nice. Happy birthday, Leo.
and he's from Namibia. And
Nice.
he came with us.
That's good. That's a huge process, huh? Bringing a dog from Namibia
Oh
to
God, bring
us.
a dog from anywhere outside the European Union is
Crazy.
it's an absolute mission.
Crazy.
But it's worth the while. I mean,
I'm sure it is. I'm sure. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Wolfgang, for this very interesting conversation.
yeah. Anytime again. And
Yeah.
well, hope we can chat again
Yeah, we
in
will. I'm
or
sure we
just
will.
privately would be nice. And I'll
Yeah,
call you when I'm next time in this part of the world.
exactly. Exactly. We'll keep in touch for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Mathieu.
You have a very good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.